record? Okay. All right, where,
We need the monitors up.
yeah, I see that, we're dark. It's okay?
Okay.
We need the monitors back on.
Well, she said we could proceed. She'll put up the monitors momentarily,
Okay.
unless you want to wait on.
Yeah, let's give it another minute. We're live? Okay, Mr. Perez, keep
All right.
going.
So the city has one question before we make our recommendation. Where are you keeping the dog?
The dog is still, he's not going out. He's still staying in property. He's not going nowhere.
Where?
Where on the property?
And he's in the yard.
In the backyard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a problem.
That's a problem because of the fence. Yes.
Okay.
Unless you control the dog in some way, you can't have that. You can't have the
Okay. I cannot put it on a
leash.
on a leash. I'm
But
going
the
to put it on a
dog
leash.
cannot be on a leash 24/7, especially outside. There's an ordinance against that, county ordinance, that states unless you're there supervising the dog while he's restrained, you cannot do that.
Okay.
Okay. What was your recommendation?
So you could relocate the dog or put the dog inside the house. That's up to your discretion.
No problem.
Unfortunately, that's the main concern at the moment, the dog, because we don't want that dog escaping again and biting someone.
Okay. No problem. You say you asked me to put it on.
Has that happened?
I got a room
He
for it.
escaped, and there was a citation issued for it.
Okay. The document from Building and Zoning says it needs NOA for the doer offense. What is NOA?
Okay. I'm already got. This is like on the survey of the material you're gonna. Purchase.
What does NOA stand for?
That's another. You see, when you buy the material, we need the survey to purchase like.
If I'm not mistaken, NOA stands for Notice of Authenticity. For the materials, when it comes to those fences, they want to see that it's the correct material.
Yes, this is. I'm already. They already give to me this. I paid $69 for.
Speak into the mic.
I paid $69 for them to give me the survey, or that's mean the paper of the product I'm gonna buy. They're gonna describe you everything. The city already have all the information about it.
Okay, I assume that you have to put up a fence that is acceptable to the city.
Yes.
And so that's what they're looking for, is some certificate that shows that the fence is legal,
Yes. That's
that it
it.
complies with all product approval requirements of the county and the city and everything
That's
else.
correct.
Okay.
That's it. They charged me $69. That's why I bought the receipt right here. They already got the paper over there, everything.
All right, so you were gonna wait to hear an answer about the dog. Now that you have heard the answer, Mr.
Okay,
Perez,
the-
what is your recommendation? 1 second, sir.
If the property owner can relocate the dog inside the property or at someone else's house in the meantime while the fence permitting issue is resolved, we don't see an issue postponing the case as long as, again, the terms would be for the dog to be relocated.
All right, so upon the recommendation of the city, I am going to table this matter for 30 days to allow you to procure a permit to build a new fence, subject to the dog being properly stored and restrained. And if there's a violation of that condition, there will be significant fines imposed as a result of it. So we're going to give you 30 days, subject to you getting a permit and keeping the dog safe where it doesn't have an opportunity to escape. Okay? 30 days.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Can I have one more question?
Yes.
I don't know how long they're going to take to give me the permit. You say you give me 30 days. I don't know if the 30 days will be enough for me because they say that it might take 15 days to get the permit. I don't know how long, but say 30 days might be short.
We'll see where we are 30 days from now, because we're going to table it for 30 days, and then I'm going to hear a progress report and see where we are. But I would recommend that you go to the building office. You already have a building number, a process number. Now you can go there and say, I've got my survey, I'm ready to go, when can I get my permit?
Thank you very much.
You need to go to the building official or his office and check and see what the process is for getting the permit.
Thank you. Mr. Jose, can I have your
you.
card, please?
Yes, one second.
Okay, thank you.
The next
Next
item
case.
is item number 30, Gustavo Lorenzo. Shanna Sanders is the officer. The case number is CESCA 2018-00001. The fine set was $250. The abatement date was April 10th of 2019. Item number 30.
Please state your full name and address for the record.
Good morning, Magistrate. My name is Ernesto Santisteban. I'm representing Gustavo Lorenzo. I'm the contractor, Tech Marine.
Your first name, sir?
Ernesto
Ernesto Santiesteban.
Santisteban, yes.
And you are?
The contractor,
You're a licensed general contractor in the state of Florida?
specialty marine contractor.
Marine contractor. And this violation has something to do with a seawall, damaged seawall, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me hear from the city first.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer, for property address 2145 Arch Creek Drive. As you've already stated, this violation is in reference to the seawall that's in the rear of the property that was originally cited August 9th, 2018. Long story short, as of Monday, when I went out on the waterways to do some inspections, the seawall still remains in the exact same condition it was when I first saw it. Now there's some type of structure or dock, something in front of it, so I was able to get some pictures, but there's some type of apparatus in front of it. But again, originally cited August of last year, still remains in the same condition. I do believe the property owner, if not the contractor, was working on some permits, I believe, last time, and I'll let the contractor chime in. I think they were back and forth with Durham. He had asked for the case to be tabled, things of that nature, but honestly, I don't know what's going on with the seawall, why it's still in disrepair. I don't know what's going on with the permits, so I'll let the contractor explain.
Before he explains, you want to show me some photographs?
Of course.
Yeah, that's okay. What? I don't know. That doesn't belong to me. At least it's not us.
And as you see, those pictures were dated Monday, this past Monday, while we went out on the waterways, roughly, I think, 11 o'clock. And as you see, there's some type of device or apparatus that's in front of it. But as you can see clearly, if you flip back, you can even see pictures from previous inspections of what it looks like. But that entire seawall from behind that structure is pretty much gone.
This is a residential property?
Yes, it's a single family home. From the last hearing, I haven't had any contact with the property owner, contractor, no one. So again, I don't know what's
Right.
going on with permits, with Durham.
Right. This
Anything.
was tabled on April 18th, right?
I believe so, because I think they said it was already going to Durham, and they asked for more time. You know, I don't really recall, but, you know, again, the
All right, let me
contractor
hear,
may remember.
let me hear from the marine contractor about the status of the work.
Okay, we are still in the process to obtain the permit from them. I was in a meeting with them. That was the reason that you tabled for 30 days. And I was in that meeting, and that meeting, them came with more change to plans. The plans was already changed. I was submitted to them. Hopefully, by next week, they're gonna be approved. This is the meeting of the the minutes of the meeting with them.
You have a letter from Durham?
Well, the application and all this stuff for them.
What's the last thing that happened with Durham?
That's the minutes of the meeting with them that was on April 25th, I'm sorry. And those change has been done to the plans and was submitted to them again. I'm waiting for the response.
Okay, so you say on the 25th of April,
Yeah, that's the minutes of the
they looked at the plans and
Yes.
they said, you need
They
to make
came-
some changes.
Yes, exactly.
And
they
you've
changed-
already, and the plans are plans that you make or someone else makes?
No, my engineering and the
Your
drafter.
engineer.
Yeah.
So you're the marine contractor,
Yes, sir.
you are the contractor on the job
That's
for
correct.
this seawall
That's
repair, but you rely on an engineer to do the drawings. Has the engineer done the drawings?
Yes,
And where are they right now?
they are done. They was submitted to them this Monday. Hopefully, they took probably like a 1 week to approve or came with new revision. But I don't foresee more revisions because that thing has been going on from 6 months at least.
So it seems like he's saying Durham still needs to look at the revised plans, is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Yes.
So easily, I do understand that this has been going on since August of 2018, but seeing that they just went back to Durham, I'm willing to give more time, but, just as long as something is going on with the property.
Yeah.
Inspections are being done, revisions are being made. It seems like, I can look over the paperwork that he has there, to make sure and confirm that revisions were made, but, I don't have a problem with, giving extension, because Durham takes a little while, as we all may or may not know. When were they when were they submitted back to Durham? You said Monday?
Yeah,
Easily that could take
Just
30
confirm,
days.
confirm that, that he's following up with Durham, the plans have been revised, submitted. We all know that it takes time for Durham to approve, these engineering drawings for seawalls. What is the structure that, appears on the photograph in front of the seawall? What is
No,
that structure?
no
Does that have
idea.
anything to do with the repairs?
No, nothing with me, no. As a matter of fact, I was hired on October 2018. I was hired.
Is there any issue with financing or,
No, I don't think,
payment?
no,
You're being paid?
no, not yet. I would like to start the job because I don't make any money doing paperwork.
So
No.
there hasn't been any work yet because you're
No,
waiting on
no,
Durham?
No, I'm not there. It's
Okay.
nothing that you can do there until you obtain the permit of them and then obtain the permit.
How
of
much
them.
time after you obtain the permit before you can complete
All
the?
depends on you,
Depends on what?
on city or North Miami.
On the
permit.
city.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time, on marine construction, when cities saw the permit already approved by them, they go,
You still need a building permit from the city?
yes.
Yes, because it needs to be approved by Durham.
Yeah.
I'm not in the building department
Right.
at all, but I do know, at least from, having an area that deals with the waterways, they're not gonna do anything until Durham gives their, stamp of approval on it. Then it comes back to the city and they, do their process. And usually after that is, I would say roughly a week. I would maybe stretch it to say 2, just to give our city enough time. But usually once Durham does what they have to do, it moves along, a little faster.
All right. Subject to your confirmation that the work with Durham is ongoing, the plans have been submitted, and we're waiting on Durham to finalize the permit. Based on those representations that have been made by the witness, I'm going to table it for 30 days.
That's fine.
I think it's
Bring
gonna be
Bring
enough,
it
yeah.
back 30 days from now, and hopefully by then, there will be some progress on getting this seawall repaired.
Yeah. And let me tell you, you are easy. Coral Gable sometimes takes
I-
2 years.
I know.
2 years.
Thank you, sir. Keep working hard.
Okay.
Appreciate your candor.
The next item is item number 50, Mariela Padron. Ernest Baptiste is the officer. The case number CERCV 2018-00173, item number 50. This case was previously tabled, not adjudicated.
number 15.
50, 5-0.
50.
Dime, ya empiezo.
¿Tu nombre?
Mi nombre es Mariela Padrón.
Mariela Madrón.
Padrón, no
Padrón.
Madrón. 1320 Northwest 120 Street. 33167.
Otra vez, otra vez. 1320.
Northwest 120 Street.
1320 Northwest 120th Street.
Are you the owner of the property?
¿Es dueña de la propiedad?
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you maintain a residential, I mean, a recreational vehicle on your property?
¿Usted tiene un
Or a
vehículo
boat?
de recreación en la propiedad?
Yo le tengo rentado al
Ah.
señor.
I have rented it to this gentleman here.
What's the gentleman's name?
¿Su nombre?
Enzo Aguilera.
He's a renter?
Yeah.
Is there a boat on that property?
¿Hay un bote en la propiedad?
Sí.
Yes.
Correcto.
Okay. Let me have the city present, and then
Gracias,
we'll go
gracias,
back
gracias.
and ask more questions of the property owner.
Y después tendré preguntas para la dueña, dice.
Ernst Baptist, City North Miami Code Enforcement Officer. This is a case that was open for a boat that is
Este caso
stored
se
at
abrió
the property.
Por un bote que estaba puesto en la propiedad.
Case was tabled, as stated,
Y esto fue programado
for the owner to obtain the variance.
para que el dueño pueda obtener un permiso.
Posted the property on April 30th,
Eso fue
2019.
en abril 30, 2019.
Took picture of the property with the boat stored to the
fotos de la
west
propiedad.
side of the property, and as of today, no variance is on file for the
Y yo
boat.
hasta ayer vi que no hay un permiso obtenido todavía.
You want to show me pictures?
Sure.
¿Es su casa? ¿Reconoce?
Correcto.
Correcto.
Looking at a picture
Estoy mirando a la foto, dice el juez.
dated March 11th, 2019,
2019.
property,
Y en la propiedad
no property is listed, but did you show the
Sure.
property owner
Yes.
picture
yes,
of the
yes,
property? Is
yes.
this your property, sir?
¿Es su
Ma'am.
propiedad, señora?
Es correcto.
Correct.
Do you understand that your tenant is keeping a
Que su
boat, a
inquilino
recreational
tiene
vehicle
un
on your
recre-
property?
Un vehículo recreacional en la propiedad,
Es
¿entiendes?
correcto.
Correct.
And do you understand that under the city
Entiende
code,
que bajo el código de la ciudad
the owner
El
of the
dueño
property
de la propiedad
needs to obtain a variance
sacar un
in
permiso
order to keep such a
para
vehicle
tener
on the
un
property?
vehículo así en la propiedad, ¿lo
Es
sabe?
correcto. Ya lo saqué.
Correct. I already obtained it.
Would you show it to the code officer?
Muéstrelo al oficial.
Enseña oficial. No, al oficial.
That's not the variance. That's
He
it.
just paid for it.
Yeah, he applied for the variance.
Sí, porque el papel se me quedó en el camión.
Where is? Yeah, that you paid for it, but where? Yeah, you paid for that. When? What's the date? Does this get smaller? I can't see the date.
Le estoy preguntando qué fecha va a lograr.
Papelito a la lengua. Papelito a la lengua.
So usted pagó por el permiso,
Pero no tiene el permiso.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you need to see it, Judge? No.
Madam, City Attorney, what is the process for obtaining the variance required in order to maintain recreational vehicle? What's the process for that?
¿Cuál es el proceso?
Um,
Le pregunta el juez.
Judge, I'm not sure what they require exactly, what they
Realmente no sé
inspect
no
and
sé
look for,
lo que se requiere,
but
pero
I know it does take
yo
some
sé
time. He already
que
applied for it,
él
so that
ya
he's
ha
already
solicitado este
accelerated in the
permiso
process.
Mhm.
y está ya en el
So,
proceso.
I don't know if it'll take another
Entonces,
maybe 30 days.
No lo
About-
sé si
about
tomará tal
30
vez
to
otros
60
30
days.
días.
30 to
Would
60
he
days.
qualify as a matter of right, or are there conditions imposed, or are there people that can't get a variance?
Algunas condiciones que se imponen.
It's up to them. It's a board that make the decision,
Yeah.
Okay.
We wouldn't know.
and we
Todavía no sabemos.
are not privy to what they do
Yeah.
Yo no sé qué es
to
lo que
get the
hace.
variance.
I think the gentleman wants to say something.
¿Quiere decir algo?
Sí, para sacar el permiso, me pidieron, la ciudad me pidió que llevara un papel que me dio la ciudad con la firma de los vecinos y todos los vecinos firmaron.
In order to obtain a permit, the city requested a paper in which I needed the signature of all neighbors.
The neighbors.
Y los vecinos firmaron y se
And-
lo di con los papeles del permiso.
And all neighbors signed, and I provided all those, all that paper.
Okay, so one of the requirements for the variance is that the abutting neighbors consent to the
Yes.
variance.
Yes.
And he's telling us that the
Y
neighbors have
He did that
consented.
step
Los
already.
vecinos ya firmaron.
Okay, and you've submitted those consents to the city?
Y todo todo ese consentimiento ya lo presentó la ciudad, la firma de los vecinos.
Eso fue lo que tuve que presentar para que ellos me dijeran que podía pagar por el permiso.
Yes, I had to submit that in order to be able to pay for the permit.
Eso, el sombrero de la casa y todo lo que me pidieron se lo di.
And
All
all
right.
the documents are
Do you
needed.
understand that if you do not obtain that variance, that you're going to be subject to a fine?
Entiende que si no obtiene ese permiso, le darán una multa. Entiende?
Es correcto.
Correct.
What says the city? Table it?
Table it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sería bueno reprogramar
We'll
entonces, dice.
we'll table
Vamos a
this hearing for 30
reprogramar
days,
esta audiencia por 30 días.
and we'll see where you are
Y en 30
with the
días
permit
veremos en qué situación está
application
con el
30
permiso,
days
con
from
la
now.
aplicación.
Thank you. Have a-
Gracias.
Have a good afternoon.
The next item is item 26, Fritzner Naret. Jose Perez is the officer. The case number is CEBPR 2019-00005. Item 26. This case was previously tabled, not adjudicated.
Please state your full name and street address for the record.
Fritzner Naret, 460 Northwest 135th Street. He has a.
Are you the
really
property
bad
owner?
code. Yes, my dad is.
Your dad is the property owner?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just has a bad code.
You're being cited for illegal conversion of an efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
And
opposed? to-
it's two cases, actually. It's the conversion to the efficiency, and then
Okay.
for zone prohibited usage for actually renting the efficiency.
Okay, well, we're gonna deal with the first one, which is the one that ends in '05.
Okay.
Okay, that's the first one. So the first case involves an illegal conversion. Do you contest a violation?
That one is not in violation because the property, when we purchased the property, I showed you pictures last time, it's within the city code. That part of the house is within the city code, it's not illegal.
But let me hear from the code officer, but I'm hearing something to the effect that, yes, it's not illegal, but maybe it was converted without a permit.
Correct,
Is that
that's
the
what
issue?
that's what the case is. It's not the fact that it's an addition to the property. I'm not contesting the fact that it may have already been there. We're contesting the fact that, and I have photographs for this. They've installed a kitchen area. It's now to the standards of what an apartment would be, and I have photographs that I could show for this.
Those have been removed. You
Okay,
have-
let me see the photographs.
And for the record, I have not been able to access the property ever since I took those photographs. The property owner has never called for me to reinspect the property, to show me that the conditions have been reverted back, and none of that has been accomplished.
Okay, I see pictures dated February 5 of 2019. You're calling this an efficiency. And do I understand your testimony that an efficiency may not have a kitchen?
They would need to have the permits for making it into an efficiency, especially if you have the hot stove, certain items.
So you can have an efficiency with a kitchen, but you need to have the permit to make it an efficiency.
No, you're not allowed to have an efficiency. That's a separate violation. That's with the zone prohibited use one.
That's the next violation.
Correct.
Okay.
The violation in question is for the additions that were made to the room to make it into an efficiency.
Was there something else there before it was an efficiency or not?
Well, it was never intended to be a kitchen inside a room, for example.
Is it connected to the house?
That I wouldn't know what the structure is connected to the house. I would assume so. There is a door behind. I'm not sure if that door is locked or segmented from the property. But the fact that the kitchen was installed into that room, definitely without any permits. So all the city's asking is for that to be taken down.
For the kitchen to be removed?
Correct.
Okay, so the narrow issue right now is the illegal construction of a kitchen within an efficiency. And we'll leave for later whether the efficiency is properly zoned or a legal use or not a legal use.
Correct.
But for purposes of this case, it's the construction of a kitchen without a permit.
Correct.
Correct? What says the property owner?
Okay. The kitchen that the code officer is talking about, we had all that removed. And you had a date to come back before the previous hearing, but then you said that you were supposed to come back, but you didn't show up that day. So when we came to hearing, the last time that we were here, we were told that you're gonna come once the tenant moves out, and then you're gonna come and then make your final inspection. But there's no kitchen there. I have pictures where we have it removed. The kitchen, those
Do you
were
have
removed.
pictures with you right now? Are they on your phone?
Yeah.
And that narrative is incorrect. I went to the property that day for the reinspection, but again, I'm not authorized to go inside the property and inspect the property without the property owner being there
Understood.
or the authorization. So no
Was there a
scheduling.
tenant? Was there a tenant?
There
at
is
the
a
time?
tenant.
There is a tenant.
Correct, and there was no scheduling. No one allowed me on the property, so I'm not just gonna go inside the property. So the point is, I just can't reinspect it without gaining access, which wasn't granted.
Ma'am, is there still a tenant on the property?
There's still a tenant on the property. And
Without a
we're-
kitchen?
We talked to her about it. We told her that since she called the city, they do not allow this, and she said it was okay. She doesn't use it, she doesn't need it, so the kitchen was removed.
All right, so show me a picture that reflects that the kitchen was removed.
Okay.
Show it to the code officer first.
There's the pictures of the actual room. Okay. They don't have pictures of the actual room showing that it's no longer there. All they have is pictures of the actual kitchenware. But you can't tell if that's pictures of the actual kitchenware before or even at the spot. There's no pictures of the actual room itself. And she could pass up the phone for Your Honor to inspect those as well.
Yeah, no, I accept your testimony. So what do we want to do about the work on the kitchen? If the kitchen has been removed, assuming it's been removed,
It's been
is the
removed.
violation cured?
Well, I would have to inspect. I would have to see and verify that it in fact has been removed.
If it has been removed?
If it has been removed, then the violation would be cured. But I can't assume that it's been removed without
Right.
seeing it.
I understand.
Okay.
So you understand that that the violation is still in effect until the
Okay.
code confirms that there has been compliance.
Okay, I can have the code officer come, but then we would need, I cannot just go inside the tenant's home. I would have to get in contact with the tenant before we can just go in there. That's another headache.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem.
It shouldn't on our behalf,
Yeah,
'cause
I'm
we
sure
can
your
just-
lease
I can
says that you
open
have
the
the right to
door.
inspect.
Yeah, we have the right.
And this has been open since February 5th.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm not clear on whether there's compliance or not compliance, I'm going to, with
You can
respect to
come
the
by
case,
today. It's
with
been
respect to
removed.
the kitchen, I am going to find that based on the photographs and the evidence, I find that the violations still exist until proven otherwise.
I can prove it today if he's willing.
Well,
It's
no,
been
I can't,
removed.
I can't wait. I'm gonna give you time to prove it, but,
Okay.
you need more, you need more than 10 days?
It's been removed.
Okay,
It's
so
not
I'm
there.
gonna give, I'm gonna say that, let me back up. Mr. Code Officer, are you willing to table this for 10 days to do an inspection and come back, or do you feel that an adjudication is justified based on the evidence?
Well, it's already adjudicated.
Oh,
No?
okay.
No, was it tabled? Okay.
It was
so
tabled,
No,
it
no, it
hasn't
was
been
tabled.
adjudicated.
Okay, let's adjudicate it and let's set a reinspection. Let's not set a fine at this time, contingent with the reinspection.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're going, based on the evidence, I'm going to find that there is a violation, that the cited violation still exists. Proper notice having been given, I find in favor of the city, find the violation, find in favor of the city on the violation, and will withhold an adjudication for a period of 10 days to give an opportunity to the code officer to confirm whether or not the violation still exists. If, however, after the inspection, the city finds that there is still non-compliance, that there's still a violation, I will set a daily fine of $250 until the violation is remediated or abated.
And I just want to add on to the record that it is the property owner's responsibility to set the appointment with me. I can't just show up at random. They have to go ahead and call me
I understand.
with time
Right.
to know.
You need to make sure that the code officer is available and that he has been authorized at a time set, a certain time and date within which he can perform his inspections. So notify the city within the next week to give him an opportunity to do an inspection within 10 days, because if after 10 days he has not cleared up the violation, there will be a daily fine of $250.
Okay. And I would just like to add that I did call the code officer and I'd explained to him that my parents are trying to bring everything back to code, but the tenant doesn't want to leave the premises. So he hired a company and we have to go forward and to try to do an eviction.
So
that's-
you can send out a 3-day letter, and then you can go in front of a judge at
We
100.
did all that.
Okay.
I have paperwork and case numbers and everything, all that is done, but we're just waiting for the a court date from the court to.
Okay. In the
to set up
meantime,
that
if the
hearing.
tenant doesn't allow you to go in and do an inspection, maybe you can ask the judge to order the tenant to allow for an inspection.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Now, we're gonna also set the
Let-
adjudication for the zone prohibited usage.
Let's talk about that. What is that issue about?
So that issue is, again, the renting of the efficiency, which is not allowed in the city, period.
That's because this is a single-family residential neighborhood, and so two families cannot live on the same property. Is that the way it works?
I'm not particular to the verbiage exactly,
Okay,
but it is zoned for single residential, and they're not
Right.
allowed to have the efficiency.
okay.
Like I said, we're trying to get it back up to code, but the tenant wanted time. We gave her time, 2 weeks, to move out. And then after that, when we tried contacting her, she didn't reply. So instead of sitting there not doing nothing, that's when my parents hired the company.
A
so we
company
can
or a
go-
lawyer?
I think it's a company. I don't know if it's a lawyer. It's a company. And they're doing all the
Well,
work and
let me warn you,
everything else.
a company cannot go in front of a judge. All a company can do is send papers. But
Okay.
you need to do a formal eviction, and the only people that are authorized to do an eviction is an attorney. So you
We
can't
have attorneys
rely on a
working for
company to
them.
do an eviction. And you understand that under the city code, under the planning code, you're not, the use of this property for an efficiency is not permitted.
Yeah, but we're working on it. We're trying to remove her from the.
Okay, so because that process
premises.
is gonna take a little longer, what I will do as far as that use is concerned, I'm gonna give you 60 days to get this tenant out.
If we
and
may,
res-
Judge, let's
yes.
see the documents that she brought, showing the case number and the other proceedings that have been filed at least.
Do you
to
have
see
the,
status
do
or
you have the
progress.
paperwork on the eviction?
They're right here.
Can you show it to the code officer? May I see it? She doesn't have an attorney. No. I've already explained it.
You have to have an attorney help you with
So
this.
it's under my impression that
Not-
then there is no case with the court.
Well, it has a case number, and we can verify if that's a real case number or not.
What's the number, Judge?
19
Mm-hmm.
10254 CC 23, landlord tenant. It's in the county court, probably here in North Miami Beach.
I think that's Judge Stein's division.
This it appears to be a pro se complaint filed by the property owner to evict the tenant, obviously prepared by the company that she's paying money to. It may very well be a case that she filed. You can verify it with the case number.
Yeah.
Ma'am, did you file that case yourself in the county court, or was that filed for you?
That was filed for me, and all we did was go in and sign the paperwork.
Did you
But-
pay a filing fee to file that?
Yes.
Do you have a receipt of that?
Unfortunately, no, I didn't bring that with me.
What is the date of that again?
There's no date on
Okay.
here.
Is it stamped by the court?
No, this was just a copy that I was given.
So it may
that
not
I
even be the
printed.
original.
No, like I said, this was a copy that they gave me.
Okay, it should be
So that-
relatively
very
easy to verify with the clerk of the court whether that's a real case or not.
I see it, Judge. The complaint was filed on, I don't know if you can hear me. The complaint was filed on 5/2/2019. There was a summons issued, summons service returned. There was an answer filed on 5/8 by Flowers, Christina Flowers.
Yeah, that's the tenant. And they sent us a copy of what she wrote.
There was a motion for default filed on 5/10/2019, and a motion to strike by Ms. Flowers on 5/10. And it's currently open, nothing else has been set as of now.
All right, so we've determined at least that there's an
We're
eviction proceeding going on before the judge, and normally, these proceedings go very quickly.
They
So
do?
you should have an answer by, certainly within 30 days. So what I'm gonna do
Okay.
is, I am going to give you 30 days within which to evict, have this proceed and finalized, and then you need to.
Can I have 60 days, just in case?
Well, at this moment, I'm not inclined to give you 60 days because
I'm
these
just
evictions
asking.
are supposed to run pretty quickly, and we need to get
don't
this
know the
tenant out
process.
so
Okay.
you can comply with the code. So if you need more time, I'm sure that I or whoever is sitting here will be accommodating based on what's happening in the courthouse, because we cannot control a judge's docket. But just to get things moving rather quickly, I'm going to find in favor of the city.
Actually, Your Honor, the city council and myself, we would actually rather no adjudication
Okay,
pending
This last
outcome.
case,
Yeah.
Just table it, so this matter can, since we verify that it's going on,
okay.
just withhold on the adjudication for this case.
All right, so you want me to
Just
uh,
table.
table it at this
Yes.
point? Okay, for 30 days.
Yes.
All right, so we're not gonna find you in violation, we're not gonna assess any penalties or fines while this eviction is ongoing, but we are going to require you to come back in 30 days and give us an update on the eviction.
Okay. And then I have 10 days to set an
Yes.
appointment with him to
Right.
come back and.
To confirm that that kitchen has been removed and the property has been restored to the appropriate condition.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The next item is item 25, the Evarista Escoto. Ernest Baptiste is the officer. The case number is CEBPR 2018-00010. Previously, the fine was set at $500. It was adjudicated November 14th of 2018. Item 25.
Ma'am, please step right up. We need an interpreter. Please state your full name and your street address for the record.
Diga su nombre completo.
Mi nombre es Evarista Escoto, mi
Dirección.
70 Northwest, 123 Street, North Miami, Florida, 33168.
Are you the owner? Well, let me,
Yeah.
Yeah, 70 Northwest, 120,
123.
123rd Street, North Miami.
Are
¿Usted
you
es dueño
the-
de la propiedad?
Sí.
are you the owner?
Yes.
Do you know why you're here this afternoon?
¿Sabe la razón por la que está aquí hoy día?
Sí.
Yes.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Tengo una adición ilegal pues, para demolición, entonces
I have an illegal addition, and it is set for demolition.
All right, let me hear from the city.
Quiero escuchar de la ciudad, disculpe.
Ernst Baptist City, North Miami Code Enforcement Officer.
Se está presentando.
This is as stated, case was adjudicated before
Fue
and
adjudicado
time was allowed
y se le permitió
to the owner
para la dueña
to get a permit for demolition.
consiga un permiso para demolición.
Upon investigation, I
Después de investigar,
see that a permit was applied for on May 9th
se aplicó por un permiso
for
en
the
mayo
demolition.
para la demolición.
Property was posted on April 30th, and this is how we get here today.
Y es por
What,
eso-
what is being demolished?
¿Qué cosa
The
está
addition,
haciendo
the illegal addition,
And that is what, a room,
a room.
okay, and a fence?
y es una
No, no
cerrajería?
defense, just a
No, no
room.
hay una
Just a room, okay.
Solamente
Can
un
I see a
cuarto.
picture?
Puedo ver fotos de ese edificio.
If you have one?
Sí tiene
I
fotos.
think we had one. No, nope. We don't have, because originally,
No tengo fotos porque
it was supposed to be required to get a permit and the violation would have been
originalmente
complied
iba a
with.
conseguir un permiso
Then they were having a hard time
y después
getting the permit to
tuvo
legalize the
de
addition.
conseguir un permiso.
Now it turned into having it removed, demolished, so
Está en la
that's why we
situación que
don't have a
tiene que
permit.
demoler.
All right, let me hear from the property owner. Are you going to legalize the addition by obtaining a building permit and doing the inspections? Or are you instead going to demolish the illegal addition? Which way are you proceeding?
¿Usted en qué dirección, cuál de los dos va a hacer? ¿Usted va a legalizar esa parte, esa adición, o usted va a demoler eso? ¿Cuál de ellos va a
voy
hacer
a
usted?
demoler, ya tengo la presenté ya y tal, y es el número de demolición.
I'm going to demolish. I have already applied for it.
Let me see the application.
Fue lo que me dio la ciudad.
That's what I was given by the city.
Is there an issue with the document? What's the concern?
¿Hay algún problema con este documento? Dice el juez.
Has the permit number on the top.
Es un número, dice que le digo.
Sí. Ellos lo
But not the permit.
Permit.
No, no, that's
Bueno,
the
no es
receipt.
el
No, they don't
permiso
have a
en sí.
permit yet.
No,
No es el permiso
They
en
just
sí.
have a number.
Yeah.
this is a process number.
Application, yes, yes.
Este es un proceso.
They
es
just
una
applied for
aplicación.
it on May 9th.
Sí, y ella aplicó en mayo 9.
Yeah. Ma'am, do you have, this is an application to the city, or it reflects that you did something, and you got a permit number.
Esta es una aplicación que usted hizo, quiere decir que está haciendo algo y le dieron un número de aplicación.
Sí.
Yes? And do you have someone to do the demolition for you?
¿Tiene ya alguien que hará la demolición para usted?
Sí, el contratista está haciendo todos los papeles.
Yes,
No, no.
the contractor is doing all the paperwork.
Yes.
Sorry. Lo que pasa es que ahora que hay que llevar un electricista. Bien, ahí lo dice.
But happens that now I have to bring an electrician to do this
Para el permiso, entonces ya.
in order to obtain the permit. and
Because
then
there's
I'll
some
be able-
electrical work that needs to be done in order to demolish?
Entonces, algún trabajo eléctrico hay que hacer para después demoler. ¿Es así?
No, hay un foco, una luz, entonces se necesita un permiso.
Well, there's a light bulb, and for that, it needs a permit
Porque no se había terminado nada, entonces.
because
Okay.
nothing was finished.
All right, but in any event, you plan on going ahead with a full demolition of the illegal addition?
Entonces, pero de todas formas, el plan suyo es demoler completamente esa adición ilegal.
Sí,
Yes.
You understand that the prior magistrate
Entiende
entered a
que el juez
judgment of
anterior
guilty,
le dio adjudicación,
and that you were required
se le
to
pidió a
abate
usted
this
que
violation
obedezca
by November of last
hasta
year.
noviembre del año pasado. ¿Usted se recuerda?
Sí, pero no era demolición, yo estaba con una compañía, le pagué un dineral a una compañía para salvar la visión. Entonces
Yeah.
me fallaron.
Notita. Yes, at that time it was not a demolition. I had a company and I had paid some money and in order for that addition at that time
To legalize it.
para legalizarlo. en
Para
el centro.
legalizaron.
To
ajá.
legalize, yes.
And then you changed your mind.
Y después ya cambió de idea.
No, porque ellos no me han cumplido, entonces yo no puedo estar en un año ya en esto y gastando mucho dinero. entonces-
Yes, because they have not done their part, so I cannot spend 1 year on spending money on this.
All right, city, what do you want me to do?
¿Qué quiere que haga? La ciudad le está pidiendo.
Again, I'm gonna repeat that last 30 days. Give her 30 more days so she can demolish.
Bueno, dale unos 30 días más para que pueda demoler.
All right, I accept
Yo acepto
your statement that you are going to be
declaración
demolishing,
que va a demoler
filing any and all necessary documents before the city,
y va a presentar todos los documentos necesarios a la ciudad,
including the electrician's
incluyendo lo del
report,
electricista, el reporte.
Sí.
and I'm going to table this for 30 days
Uh,
to see.
Lo voy a
Actually, let's give her 60 days because there's permit process in it. I
Okay.
think it might take.
I was just being conservative.
Yeah.
As long as you're moving along
Siempre y cuando
quickly
está avanzando rápidamente.
to remove the offending
Para
structure,
quitar
I'm gonna give you 60
Entonces, voy a
days,
darle
table it for 60
60
days.
días. Lo estoy reprogramando para 60
But
días.
next time you're
Y
here,
la próxima vez que la vea aquí,
a fine will be imposed.
entonces le daré una
I
multa,
the fines will be ratified rather because fines were
Las
already
multas
imposed and
ya
set at
serán-
500.
serán aprobadas y se dijo que eran $500.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you a break today
Bueno, hoy día le
for
doy
60
break
days
por 60
to
días
get the demolition
para que haga esta demolición.
moving.
Adelante.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item is item 56, Norman, Washington. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. The case number CEBCR 2019-00001. The fine set was $250. The abatement date was May 8th of 2019, item 56.
Sir, please state your full name and street address for the record.
Norman, Washington, 900 Northwest, 124th. That's the property address.
And are you the owner of the property, Mr.
Yes, I
Washington? Okay. Apparently, there's a boat on the property, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, do you have a variance for that boat?
we got one today,
Good.
and the thing is that I'm having a problem with, the boat has been there for some time. The first code person to come by said that if it was moved behind the fence, then everything was okay. Now they sent a new code person out, have seemed to change that. And that's where the variance come in at. Because
But in any event, you've complied.
We gotta get like 3 more signatures, that's it.
need 3 more signatures where, again,
The first person told me I just need the person in the front. And the
Speak into the mic, please.
I said the first person told me I needed the person that lived directly across and the person in the back. But when I went today, they told me I need additional people.
So
So
there's no variance.
they keep changing.
Okay. You were found guilty back in April and given until May 8th to comply and get a variance.
It's our first time coming. It's our
That's,
first time being here.
that's an application, Judge. It's not the actual,
Yeah, she said we had to get 3 more signatures and bring it back.
All right, but
but
my,
it's not even submitted yet, so,
It has a stamp. You see,
but it's not done.
I know that's what
You're in the process of getting the variance,
Yes, she said
and
we
you needed more signatures.
Yes, on this page, she said get 3 more signatures and bring it back. She stamped it.
Okay, are you gonna be able to get those 3 signatures?
Yes.
But what I can't understand is why the changes. First, he was told 2 signatures. Now I think he need a total of 5.
And I have them too.
Right, he complied to that, with that.
I can't speak for staff and what the code requires as far as signatures are concerned. The code may have changed. The people's interpretations may have changed. I can't speak to that, but what's before me is that you need a variance and you don't have a variance. That's what's before me.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out how much time you need in order to get the variance from the city so that you can keep your boat on your property legally. So I'm gonna turn to the city and ask how much time is involved in the process of getting this variance.
Good afternoon, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. The process for getting a variance is ever changing. At one point in time, it was a 4 to 6 week process. Now it has to go before a Board of Adjustments, which may take 6 months, but they'd have to verify with the Community Planning and Development because I do not sit on the board, so I don't know what that process looks like. I did go by the property and cited them. Several notices were left and no one ever made any attempt to contact the city as far as an extension or finding out what it was that needed to be done as far as obtaining the variance. And here we are now.
All right, where we are is that there is a finding of guilt with a daily fine set and there's still no compliance. And we want to be lenient and we want to understand that this is a lengthy process or could be a lengthy process. I'm hearing now that there's a Board of Adjustment that probably only sits once a month and it may not be able to get on that agenda. I would need to know that to see how much time to give you. So my inclination, since they've already started the process and they just need a couple of more signatures, and if there's a delay, it's not gonna be on them, it's gonna be on the city. I'm kind of leaning in favor of tabling this for at least 30 days, maybe 60, and seeing where we are then and bringing it back by way of a progress report. And if everything is moving along quickly, then everybody will be happy.
Sounds good to me.
So I'm gonna table this for 60 days, but encourage you to go ahead and move as quickly as you can. Get in front of whatever board you need to get in front of. I'm sure that there is a planning department that you can talk to get on their agenda and get this variance approved.
And
So,
I'll get the signatures and bring it back tomorrow.
as soon as possible.
Yeah, bring it
Are
tomorrow.
those people still living in the house?
Yeah.
The owners of the house are still there?
I guess. I don't know.
I thought she said today that they were no longer here.
No. Corona. That was Corona. I think it
Well,
was,
you guys figure it out outside. That has nothing to do with us. But whatever the city requires, you need to comply. And if you're not able to comply, then you need to remove the boat and put it somewhere else. If the neighbors object, or if the conditions are not acceptable, then that's another story. Then the boat needs to go. But we're not there yet. We'll figure that out the next time you come in front of us, which will be 60 days from now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
The next 2 items are 28 and 29 for Galinsky. Jose Perez is the officer. The first case is CESTA 2019-00003 and CESTR 2019-00004. They have not been adjudicated. They were tabled at the last hearing.
Perfect, great. Before we start, let me just get my papers in order. Before we commence, and the case has already been announced, I just want to state for the record that I was served with a motion for continuance last week at my home. And by the way, going forward, I would prefer that if I'm going to be served with anything, that it be served by way of the either the city clerk, the code enforcement, the city manager. It doesn't need to be served at my house. But in any event, I did review the motion for continuance made by David Gutlinski. I reviewed a complaint for declaratory judgment, case number 2016-018015CA01, a complaint that was filed in the circuit court on July 14th, 2016. I also reviewed certain attached exhibits, which included a November 19th, 2015 letter from attorney Frank Wolin. I'm sorry. November 19, 2015 letter from Andrew Dixon, zoning administrator, to Mr. Frank Wolin, November 19, 2015. A letter from Jeff Kazoo, city attorney, dated June 15, 2016, from the city attorney to Frank Wolin. A letter from Frank Wolin to Jeff Kazoo, city attorney, dated July 13th, 2016. There is some emails dated May 2nd. And there is copies of a plane ticket that forms part of the motion to dismiss, a motion for continuance reflecting a flight to St. Louis from Fort Lauderdale by Frank Wolin. There is an email from Sheila Vasquez, Assistant City Attorney, to Mr. Wolin, May 3, 2019. So I've reviewed the documents. I've also had an opportunity to view the video of the last special magistrate meeting where this matter was continued because of a conflict of interest by the sitting magistrate. Before I get to the motion to continue, I would like to know, and I'm asking, if there's any stay order, injunction, or other judicial decree that prevents me from hearing this matter today. That's the first question that I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask the city first. Is there anything that prevents me from hearing this case today?
In terms of the code violations that are set for today, Your Honor, no, there's nothing that prevents you from hearing those today. In terms of the allegations and what Mr. Galinsky is asking for as it relates to a continuance, which is really related to his circuit court case,
Right.
then I would say yes. The last thing that was filed on that case was on August 2nd, 2018, and it was a motion to withdraw as counsel from the attorney Jonathan Heller. There has been nothing going on that circuit case since. The matters that he brings up in his motion for continuance are related to that circuit case and have nothing to do with the code violations that we're here for today.
Okay, but just to be clear, there's no court order saying that I can't hear the code violations today.
Not
if
the
I
code
choose,
violations
if I
from
choose to
today.
do it. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Good-
Sir,
good
please
morning.
state your full name
Good
and good
afternoon.
afternoon. Full name street address, and tell me what your relationship to the property is.
Absolutely. My